Iron, check it out. I have a face!
Skillz, you have always had a face, but why do you have a digital face?
A buddy of mine made it for me. Classy, huh? I bet you're jealous. Haha, you don't have a face. Iron? Are you there, dude? Whoa!
I requested that he make a face for me as well. We have the same friends.
Aw, I'm not special anymore.
I believe that is enough of that. Anyways, it's a pleasure to see you again. My name is Ironmonger, Iron for short. If you have not already, I recommend that you watch our Janus Guide.
That's when we got all that time-consuming stuff like introductions and explaining ourselves done and out of the way.
For your sake and ours, we will use the same flow as the Janus Guide, thus eliminating the need to explain what we are about to do and why. Doing so will save time and shorten the videos. As we discuss at the end of our Janus Guide, today we'll be covering the warrior, Sun Wukong.
He's a well-balanced god that can both deal damage and take it. He gave up some of his power for sustain, but that can make him much more irritating to his opponents. It'll make more sense if we just go ahead and start explaining his abilities. This is a video after all.
True. Let's start with his passive, Undefeated Body. When Sun Wukong's current health is below 35% of his maximum health, he gains additional critical hit chance and defense. There are two things to note about his passive. First, there is no time limit. It is active for as long as you remain under 35% health. Second, benefits you receive increase by 1 for every level you have acquired. Level 1 grants 11% critical hit chance and 11 points of defense, while level 20 grants 30% critical hit chance and 30 points of defense.
Undefeated Body is all about risk and reward. You get a lot of power, but only if you have a third of your health left. You shouldn't try to hurt yourself just to activate it, but you should know how it works. It could save your life.
Moving on, we have the Magic Cudgel. For the sake of time, I'm going to simply say Cudgel. The ability is very straightforward. Sun Wukong spins, lengthening his magical cudgel, and slams it on the ground, damaging every enemy that comes in contact with it.
Yeah, it's simple, but there are two things you may or may not know. First, you can continue to aim until Cudgel lands. Take a look and see it for yourself. Second, lane minions and jungle monsters take 25% more damage from Cudgel than enemy gods.
Next on the list is Warrior's Will. Sun Wukong spins, lengthening his magical cudgel, and damaging every enemy near him. Instead of dealing additional damage to minions and monsters, Warrior's Will slows every enemy damaged by it, minion, monster, or god.
On its own, it's not very amazing, but if you use it right before or after Cudgel, you can deal a lot of damage. If your goal is to kill minions, these two abilities together will often do the job, if not leave one, maybe two stragglers. Don't underestimate the slow. It may not be as powerful as a root or a stun, but it's plenty when you consider everything else Sun Wukong can do.
On to his third ability, 72 Transformations is one of Sun Wukong's most unique abilities. He chooses one of 3 animals and attacks differently according to his choice. All 3 forms involve running forward at greater speed, but each one treats enemies differently. It can be a lot, so look at the chart in front of you if you'd like to see how they differ.
In general, you use the Ox to attack multiple enemies or knock someone up, Tiger to focus on one enemy or stun someone, and Eagle to chase or escape. All 3 animals are linked, so no matter which animal you choose, the others will not be available until the ability recharges.
The last ability to cover is Sun Wukong's ultimate, Somersault Cloud. He charges up for a brief time and jumps into the air, becoming unhittable. Until he jumps into the air, he can receive damage, but he is immune to crowd control. Sun Wukong is healed for 5% of his maximum health every second he is in the air. However, after a certain time, he is forced to slam down to the ground, at which point he deals damage to everyone around him. Should he choose, he can slam down early.
The slam itself is powerful, but there's a choice he has to make. If he wants to regain a lot of health, he has to risk the enemy running away. On the flip side, if he wants to use the slam on someone, he won't be able to heal very much. Sometimes the enemy remains close enough to him the entire time, allowing him to do both. But this is rare.
Oh, I forgot something important. When Sun Wukong jumps into the air, a decoy is left behind. The decoy has the same amount of health as Sun Wukong when he jumped into the air, but it has less power and defense. Unless it dies or expires, it will attack the nearest god. If it does die before Sun Wukong slams down, Sun Wukong can be seen in the sky, telegraphing which direction he is facing.
Don't forget that some forms of hard crowd control destroy the decoy instantly.
Thank you, I almost forgot about that. We've covered all of his abilities, so let's go over his strengths and weaknesses.
The first strength I'd recommend is his wave clear. Yes, he has to get close to the minions, but 2 abilities are all he needs to clear an entire wave. Let's see. Another strength is his ability to be aggressive. Warrior's Will can trap an enemy within melee range. The knockup from Ox is great in team fights, and the stun from Tiger form can be devastating in a one-on-one battle.
He is also hard to kill. Warriors are very sturdy, and Sun Wukong is no exception. This is even more true if you consider the healing from Somersault Cloud and the speed granted by Eagle form.
There may be a few more strengths, but that sounds like enough to me. Let's start thinking of something you could call a weakness. Let's see. Oh, well, he's not extremely powerful. Yes, cudgel and warriors will add up over time, but they aren't really enough to kill a healthy enemy quickly.
True, Sun Wukong lacks the burst potential of a mage or assassin. This is not to say he's weak, but rather he is persistent.
Let's see. We should probably point out the weakness of 72 transformation. Ox and Eagle form are immune to slows and roots, and Ox is also immune to knockups, but all three can be stunned. On those terms, Tiger is the weakest of all, since he's not immune to anything.
A well-read, vigilant player can often deal with 72 transformations. I would also like to point out one last weakness of 72 transformations. 72 transformations is active for the entire transformation period. If Sun Wukong is silenced, the ability is interrupted, which makes Sun Wukong return to normal.
And there you have it. That about wraps it up. Sun Wukong is a well-rounded god that has good wave clear, strong initiation, and excellent survivability. He may not be a powerhouse, but he's strong and dependable. Just be careful when using 72 transformations.
That is the end of this video. We will likely keep the 3-part system we developed for our first video. Come back and see us if you would like to hear our take on items on Sun Wukong.
Heh, faces are awesome.